These days, it can be hard to trust the media. What's true, what's fake, and who is behind the message? I'm a freelance journalist and videographer who has spent years studying the media. Now I'm taking a look at what local, regional, and national news stories mean to us here in North Central Washington. I'm Dominick Bonny, and this is Common Sense. Hello and welcome to episode 68 of Common Sense. I'm Dominick Bonny, and in this episode, we're going to meet the Bukovtsov family, or most of them at least. They are Ukrainian refugees and brand new to our community, thanks in large part to the efforts of Olga Rubikov, who, along with her brother Alex, who is in Ukraine, has been working tirelessly to help people on the ground in that war-torn yet still defiant country. Oleg, Karina, Mia, Sophia, and their little sister Yeva have had quite a journey getting to the U.S. and the Wenatchee Valley, and I want to jump right in because it's a lengthy interview that I think everyone in this community and even abroad will find interesting. Karina is the best at speaking English in the family currently, although I'm sure that will change very quickly now that the girls are all in school. So she does most of the talking, and Olga did the translating. Stay tuned after the interview if you'd like to learn how you can help support what Olga and Alex are doing for those still in Ukraine. Now, let's meet the Bukovtsovs. What part of Ukraine are you guys from?
We are from Odessa region. It's about 200 kilometers from Odessa.
Okay.
It's not a very big town. It's look like a village.
Okay.
Small town.
Okay. And about how many people in your town?
Maybe 5,000 or 6,000.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And we're here with Olga Rubikov as well.
Right.
She's going to help us out with some translating. And Olga, can you tell me how you maybe were instrumental in bringing this family to Wenatchee, briefly?
Okay. I am a Ukrainian American myself. I've been in Wenatchee since I was 13. U.S. is home, but I love Ukraine. And my brother actually currently lives in Ukraine and serves as a missionary. You did a video with him as well, Alex Zaitsev. So we know each other. We've known them through ministry and through ministry with Alex. Alex is actually good friends with them, has been ever since he was in Ukraine. And so when this possibility opened up to bring someone, we kind of inquired with some relatives and friends and acquaintances, and we said, who wants to come? We'll be happy to help. And they are the ones who said, we'd love to come. And so we did everything we could to get them here.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So we're at, I'm not sure what the day count is since the Russian invasion, but it's about 50, right?
53, 54.
Yeah. So about 55 days ago, what did your lives look like? What was a normal day for you?
Yes, our children go to school. I go to work, and Oleg works. It was normally life. We do that we like to do.
Mm-hmm. And what do you both do for work?
I'm a nurse.
Okay.
I work at a hospital, and I help my daughter from homework for school, and they like go to different places, dance, maths, and different things. And after work, we go together, different their place where they usually go.
Uh-huh.
And I shooting toys
Uh-huh.
and made flowers.
Mm.
It's my lovely work too.
So you like to garden?
No. I made a bouquet for wedding and different celebrations.
Oh, okay. I see.
She does crafts for order and toys, stuffed animals, toys that people would special order. And then she does really, really intricate work with her hands and that is kind of hobby on the side, which also brought income on top of the nursing that she's done.
Sure, side hustle.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
as they
The
call it.
American way.
The American, yeah, side hustle. And you're actually a videographer.
Yes.
You do what I do. Yeah. And what's some of the work that you've worked on? We talked a little bit before we roll camera, but what are some of the projects you've worked on?
Какие проекты, над которыми ты работал? Какая вот твоя работа твоя в общем?
То, что касалось моей работы за деньги, это я снимал свадьбы и различные мероприятия. А то, что было у меня на сердце и как бы мое творческое побуждение, это я снимал. У меня есть одна серия, один фильм о том регионе, где я живу, о разных поколениях людей, какие были у них ценности.
So there are two things that he's done. One is what brought income, which is videos of weddings, of special events for people, things for schools. And then the other part of his work is what his passion was. It's to record the lives of people around him and how the history was brought into that life and the reason why that life became what it was. So he's got a series of videos on that as well.
Wow.
И сейчас перед войной мы начали снимать материалы для второго фильма. Сняли очень много различных интервью, но так как началась война, мы уехали. Но материалы взял сюда и буду здесь делать.
So it's kind of like a documentary film, and right before the war he was recording his second documentary film with a lot of interviews with people who were meaningful to that area and the way it shaped. And unfortunately the war started and they had to leave. They did bring all that material with them to work on.
Wow. So let's talk about, the beginning of the war. How did that affect your lives, and how quickly was that decision made to say we need to get our family out of this country?
Рано утром нам позвонила Олега сестра,
Это в 5 утра.
да, и сказала, что началась война.
When the war started, 5 o'clock in the morning, Oleg's sister called them, woke him up and said the war has begun.
Мы начали плакать, собирать вещи, документы и думали, как дальше быть.
Everybody started crying, started collecting documents, things, and weren't sure what to do next.
Так как я работала, я пошла утром на работу, дети остались дома с мужем, потому что нам написали, что в школу детей нельзя, нужно сидеть дома и ждать дальнейших указаний, как быть дальше.
The schools sent out messages saying that kids can't come to school today, just sit and wait and see what happens.
Когда я пришла на работу, мы начали убирать убежище в больнице, готовить место, если будут раненые, где мы можем оказывать помощь.
I did go to work that morning, and what we started doing is preparing a bomb shelter, which was not cleaned up at that point.
И когда мы убирали, мы слышали выстрелы,
When we were cleaning up, we were already hearing the shelling and the bombing.
Это было очень страшно.
It was very scary.
Руки, ноги трусились, и сердце просто очень бешено, колотилось. Ты вот просто не знал, как быть. И ты был в шоке, ты не верил, что это происходит с тобой.
Everybody was in shock, hands and feet would shake, and your heart is just beating out of your chest, pretty much.
Некоторое время в нашем поселке было тихо.
For some time after that, it was pretty quiet in our village.
Был комендантский час, когда мы имели право куда-то ходить, куда мы не имели права ходить, и если ходили, то только с документами, кто мы, о представлении личности.
But there were many rules in place at that point during that period of time. There was curfew, everybody had to have documents on them if they walked out, and there weren't areas that they could enter at that point.
У людей началась паника, они начали быстро скупать разные продукты в магазинах, с полок все сметать, лекарств вообще перестало быть в аптеках, и все люди были в страхе, в панике, как дальше быть, это как будто жизнь просто остановилась.
So people started panicking, started buying everything off the shelves, afraid that food is going to be, the food supply is going to be stopping, and everybody was just so scared during that period of time.
И когда начались ежедневные тревоги в нашем селе, мы тогда начали думать, что нам делать.
Тревоги это
Воздушные.
So they started getting some air raid sirens turned on a regular basis, and that is when they started thinking, okay, should we be even staying here?
Одна девочка, с которой я училась в училище, жила немного ближе к Одессе, и ее дом разрушила бомба. Ракета упала прямо на ее дом, и она жила возле воинской части.
She has a friend who lived near Odessa, and her house was destroyed. There was a rocket that just fell from the sky right into the home, and the whole thing was destroyed. And she lived very near the army base.
Наш дом находится посередине, в центре поселка. С одной стороны у нас воинская часть, с другой стороны у нас военкомат. Мы как бы в эпицентре всех событий, которые вот происходят.
И административное здание.
Да, административные здания как бы в центре всех событий.
Our house was right in the middle of our village, and we had another army base on one side and a couple administration buildings on the other side that had to do with military operations.
Да, и вот когда она написала, что девочки, у кого рядом есть воинские части, нужно как-то думать уходить, потому что они именно стреляют по воинским частям.
And the friend whose house was destroyed sent out messages and said everybody who has any army operations around them should be thinking of moving out because of a possibility of destruction.
Дети очень начали бояться. София очень часто плакала, у нее начались частые головные боли, моргание глаз частое, то есть она была в очень большом стрессе.
One of the girls, Sophia, started crying a lot, had some headaches that started up, and she had some other neurological issues that just kind of started appearing from all the stress.
Yeah.
И когда мы увидели, что в Одессу окружили вот эти корабли, 11 военных кораблей, и они уже начали как бы к Одессе подступать, мы подождали 20 дней и решили, что нам нужно уезжать.
So about 20 days into it, since the war started, they did see 11 warships, Russian warships, in the Black Sea surrounding Odessa, and that was when they made the decision to leave.
I see. And how, once you made the decision to leave, how did you do that?
Мы попросили нашего друга с церкви, чтобы он на нашей же машине нас подвез к границе.
We asked a friend to take our car and take us to the border of Moldova. Moldova, да?
Да.
Мы очень переживали, молились, думали, пропустят ли Олега, потому что мужчин не выпускают с Украины.
At that point, men were not being let out of Ukraine because of the war. They had to be left behind, except for in certain situations. One of those situations is if you have 3 children or more, which they have 3 daughters, but there was still a lot of misconception there with that, and so they were really worried that Oleg was not going to be let out of the country, and he does not have any military experience.
Еще, может быть, важно упомянуть что мы живем прямо возле, там где-то 20 километров до Приднестровья, где стоят русские войска, и если бы они обошли по суше, они бы замкнули кольцом, наше селение было бы в кольце, а эти корабли из моря, они должны были высадить десант, когда замкнется кольцо сверху над Приднестровьем.
Also, another just explanation to where they were in that area. So there's Pridnestrovye on the other side, which is an area that's controlled by the Russians and has been for a long time. It's kind of like no man's land, pretty much, where anybody could use it kind of thing, but the Russian military would use that area. And the whole goal was for the Russians, what they were planning on is to have their navy on the Ukrainian soil, and for their military from the Pridnestrovye side to lock them in, and that was the area where they were, and so that really made them make that decision to go towards the border.
Yeah.
Да, и мы решили попробовать, думали, если нас пропустят всю семью, мы уедем. Если Олега заберут, то мы останемся с ним, мы не будем разделять семью.
So they made the decision at that point to try to cross the border, and if Oleg was going to be let out, then they would go. If not, then they would still stay on the Ukrainian territory.
That must have been very stressful.
Yes.
Большой стресс, да.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you got to Moldova, How did you get to the U.S. after that?
Как в Америку попали?
Это был очень длинный путь.
It was a very long way.
Расскажи про Николая, про этот лагерь.
В Молдове у Олега был учитель, он есть, учитель библейской школы, где Олег учился. Он нам помог.
Oleg used to be a student of a Bible college, and he had a faculty member, his professor, who is a friend, and so he inquired with that friend if he would take them in Moldova for just a very brief period of time.
Да, мы были несколько дней в Молдове, потом эти наши друзья нас посадили на автобус и отправили на Швейцарию. Мы были в
So
Швейцарии.
he did take him in for a few days. They were in Moldova, and then there came an opportunity to go into Switzerland, and so they got them on a bus, and they've traveled to Switzerland for about 4 days.
Около 3 дней мы туда ехали.
3 days.
Да.
3 days.
Yes.
Wow.
Это тоже был очень длинный путь. В Швейцарии мы были 3 недели.
So in Switzerland they spent 3 weeks.
Okay.
Да, потом Ольга нам написала, что вот она хочет, и у нее есть возможность, чтобы мы приехали в Америку.
And around that time is when the humanitarian parole option opened up to enter the U.S. And so that was when I asked them, do you guys want to come? If you do, then we'll help you out. And they agreed after a couple days, made that decision. And so we started the process of booking tickets and figuring out how to make it happen.
Stay tuned after the break for more.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bob File Boats and Motors. Now's the time of year to upgrade your boat from a new motor, a bow mount, installing a state-of-the-art GPS fish finder, or just fixing your trailer lights. Make your appointment today. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. Spend more time on the water and less time at the shore. Get ready for summer fun now at Bob File Boats and Motors. The NCWLIFE channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCWLIFE channel today.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCWLIFE. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.
As AmeriCorps members and volunteers, we do more than talk about our core values. We take action and commit to making our community stronger.
At AmeriCorps, my commitment to equity gives every student a strong start.
Our compassion brings food and friendship to neighbors in need.
My determination protects parks in my community.
Now more than ever, your community needs you. What's at your core? Learn more at AmeriCorps.gov.
Welcome back. Let's get right back to my interview with the Bukovtsov family, who are recently arrived refugees from Ukraine. 2 questions. First is, what do you want to see happen in your country? I'm sure I know part of that answer.
Первый вопрос. Что бы вы хотели увидеть в вашей стране сейчас? Что бы вы пожелали для своей страны?
Только мира, и чтобы все территории, которые в Украине, они сохранили свои границы, чтобы люди перестали гибнуть, и особенно дети, женщины, чтобы все люди перестали гибнуть, и чтобы страна отстроилась, и она процветала, и было мир и благополучие в стране.
Definitely peace, and for the territory of Ukraine to remain Ukrainian, and also for all the people to stop dying, because there's a lot of death. And definitely long-term goals for everything to be rebuilt even better than it was before.
Yeah. What's the plan now, as far as how long, I'm sure not everything is figured out, right? But, what's the plan as far as how long you want to stay in the U.S.? Do you want to emigrate here permanently or go back if that's an option?
Пожалуйста.
Мы понимаем, что все в руках Божьих. Мы доверяем Богу, надеемся, что Бог откроет нам, покажет, как дальше быть. Мы понимаем, что здесь, если по закону, мы можем только здесь год быть. Если Богу будет угодно, и Он усмотрит, чтобы мы остались, мы будем оставаться. Если Бог скажет, что нам нужно ехать назад, мы поедем назад. То есть мы все в руках Божьих. Мы доверяем Богу в этом вопросе.
At this point, it's hard to say. We're trusting God in everything. We know that He brought us here, He blessed the way. And as we proceed, we just trust Him in how things are going to go. As of now, on humanitarian parole, they can only stay here for a year legally. But recently, just a few days ago, the temporary protected status opened up for Ukrainians, which will give them actually 18 months of legal residency here. And then after that, if God allows, they would love to stay here as permanent residents. If everything works out for the Ukrainian refugees. And it is very unclear as to how the United States is going to handle these cases. But if there is a possibility, we're all going to pursue that for them because it would be absolutely wonderful for them to stay in the United States. And they can bring a lot into the United States as well. Their family is just so talented and wonderful. But if, as they said, if God leads them back to Ukraine, then that's going to happen, and they're more than open to do that.
Yeah. And so you've been here a week, which I'm sure feels like, it seems like it's been a whirlwind for you guys, and I empathize with that. And today, the girls are going to start school, you said?
Yeah, the youngest one, actually, Yeva, who's not here, she already started Mission View.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so 7:45 she was over there, and she didn't cry. She just took off and went to her class, which is super cool. The girls don't speak English, just a few words, so it'll be an interesting adjustment, but the schools are pretty amazing. Yeah, we've seen great things in the district so far, so she'll do well. And then Sophia and Mia are starting Pioneer School tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah,
great. Congratulations.
Good luck. Yeah, поздравляю вас с началом школы. Thank you.
And are you looking forward to it? Are you nervous? How are you feeling about starting school?
Мия, как ты себя чувствуешь по этому поводу? Переживаешь? Радостно?
Немного переживаю, но я думаю, что все будет хорошо.
Definitely nervous, but I think that everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Как ты, Софийка?
Я хочу выучить язык, чтобы их понимать.
All I want is just to learn English to understand them.
Well, you'll pick it up really fast, I'm sure.
Да, он уверен, что ты быстро его выучишь. Хорошо, да. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess as far as responsibility for this war, for this invasion, who is responsible and what should their consequences be?
Так как Россия напала на Украину, совершенно это очевидно, что ответственность на Российской Федерации.
Because Russia is the one who invaded Ukraine, so the Russian Federation is responsible for this.
И наказание это, я бы сказал бы, по-другому немножко, то есть победа Украины должна быть, это будет наказанием для России.
And the consequences, an interesting way to answer it is the victory in Ukraine will be the consequence for the Russian Federation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is an interesting part of this whole thing because I was in Florida when the night before this happened, and I thought they're going to invade. I watched Putin's speech, and I was like, they're going to invade tomorrow. They did, and everyone in the American media, European media, they said it'll take a couple of days, and they'll have the whole country. Why do you think everybody was wrong about that?
Он говорит, я был во Флориде тогда, и за день до этого выслушал путинскую речь, и я решил, что завтра они пойдут в Украину. И это действительно произошло. Но все сразу говорили, что дня 2, и они захватят Украину полностью. Почему это не произошло? Почему все были неправы по этому поводу?
Я думаю, они не ожидали то, что украинцы, что они сильные духом, они свободолюбивые, они любят свою страну, и они будут ее защищать. Всеми своими силами, и они положат жизнь свою, но свою землю никому не отдадут.
What the whole world did not expect is the strength and the will of Ukrainian people. They're truly unique. Nobody expected that they love their country so much, they love their land so much, to where they're gonna be laying their lives on that soil to the very end, and they will protect it. Their willpower is just so strong and so admirable. Nobody could even imagine that was the case in one set of people.
Interesting. And what do you think the rest of the world, what do you think the U.S., since we're in the U.S., but the U.S. and NATO and the rest of the world should do now to help Ukraine? What's the best way?
First of all, they're just very grateful to all the help that they have received so far within Ukraine. If it was not for the help from the United States currently that they have been receiving, and it's not just the help with ammunition and whatnot, it's also that moral help, or the just the support that they're getting, emotional support, and all the videos that are recorded, even the flags that are everywhere on the U.S. territory, all of that is so uplifting for the Ukrainian people. And it's not just here in the U.S., it's other NATO countries as well. So if it wasn't for all of that, and of course, the military help, Ukraine would have been crushed by now, because they are just size-wise, size of the army and whatnot, they just would not stand a chance. But the fact that we're in the 54th day of war and still, Ukraine is standing strong, that's only because of the help from the United States and other NATO countries. So that is, as long as that continues, Ukraine definitely stands a chance of victory. That's their answer, and I can add a little bit to it from my own perception. I've been following the situation so closely just because I have so many connections on the ground there. Being an American citizen, been here since 13, this is where my kids were born, this is home. I am torn, between the two. It's like, yes, send the military over there. And my answer is always, well, that's not the answer, because we have to protect what we have here too. Next thing you know, you got a nuke hitting U.S. territory. We don't want that. But as a Ukrainian, I know that the Ukrainian army is so, so strong. They don't even need American men on the ground in Ukraine. All they need is just help with some more tactical weapons that are more aggressive, which will take back the territory that was lost. That's all they need.
FDR once called the United States the arsenal of democracy, and I think it's time to pick up that mantle and fully embrace it once again. A threat to democracy anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. And the guy who started the largest land war in Europe since World War II cannot be allowed to invade any country he wants because he feels like he owns it. Like Olga said at the end, they don't need American troops to come save them. They just need the tools to get the job done. As you can see here, the Ukrainian people are proud, tough, and resilient. How this thing shakes out is anyone's guess. I hope it ends soon and Putin gets the justice he deserves. But I thank God that Oleg, Karina, Mia, and Sophia and Yeva were able to get out of the country safely and make it to our little slice of heaven here in the Wenatchee Valley. It would not have been possible if not for the work of folks like Olga, as well as the welcoming committee spearheaded by Grace Lutheran Church and Russ Spadell here in Wenatchee. If you'd like to learn more about Olga's work through Mission VHF, you can pause this program right now and scan this QR code with your phone. Or you can look them up on Facebook at Mission VHF Ukraine. That's all for this episode. Join me next time for more Common Sense.